Welcome viewers, hello again, welcome to Hellenic TV and another round of Table for Two, another half an hour of Greekology and local community news. Alex, welcome again.
Thank you James.
Today we'll do our usual round. We'll cover Sierra Leone, we'll cover your recent travels.
Yep.
You went to Metsovo.
That's right.
Then we'll cover the recent events around Holy Week, church community, and then 2024 marks the 50th year of 1974, so we'll spend a few minutes on that. We won't be able to do it justice, but a few things to say on that. So let's start with Sierra Leone. You had a nice charitable fundraising event.
That's right.
Start with that maybe.
Yeah, we had a coffee and cake event at the Clissold Arms. Which they provided the coffees, cakes were provided by Andana Foods and Raphael's Bakery and Patisserie. We had quite a crowd there as well, and yeah, we raised money on the day. We also raised money through the GoFundMe, so we'll have the link up because it's still open. Anybody wishing to donate can still donate, and we managed to raise on the day, and with the GoFundMe and also some private donations, £1,400.
Amazing. Just
like that. So that was an amazing event, and thanks to your sister Marie as well and her team, because thanks Marie, because she worked really hard that day. She even gave a speech, which was very nice of her.
And her friends as well, mucked in, which was
nice. Of course. Okay. Now on Sierra Leone wise, we had a recent delivery arrive in Sierra Leone. Leon Freight delivered medicines and medical equipment to the mission's clinic, and part of that equipment was walking frames, 3 brand new walking frames. So if you can imagine, your mobility has been affected, and getting from here to 5 meters is a problem. In Sierra Leone, it remains a problem unless someone physically carries you. So we've now sent 3 of these walking frames, and we will be sending more of those as well. Because they're invaluable over there.
So who works in the clinic?
There's the doctor. There's doctor there, and then there's a nurse. The nurse was part of the Orthodox Youth Fellowship, Juliana, and then she's now the nurse for the actual mission. And she also does outreach work in Crew Bay, which is they have a school in the slum area. Then they have another area, Waterloo. They have Site Street. So she gets around as well. She does a lot of work for the mission, a lot of work.
Say medic and nurse, or do they rotate? Do they get any visiting clinicians?
Every so often they'll have some doctors volunteering, but they're few and far between at the moment. Sure. I mean, anyone who wishes to go to Sierra Leone and act as a doctor for a few months, or a nurse, even a teacher, the mission would accept them and love them to come along. It's an invaluable resource.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, last month I mentioned a guy. I won't say his name yet. He's from Labrum, London. Now he arranged a charity football match between Labrum Athletic in Sierra Leone in Freetown and Ceylon Stars. Okay. And I got his name wrong.
Okay.
Now before the show, in my head I was saying it's Fode, not Tode. It's Fode, not Tode. During the show I said Tode. So my apologies. Fode, not Tode. So he gets another mention, 2 mentions in the space of 2 months, which is a bonus for him as well. Good. But he does wonders for Sierra Leone as well. So that's the Sierra Leone news, short and sweet. Obviously, when the show goes out, I'd have just finished my visit with Alexandra to Sierra Leone.
How's the tailor doing? Any sewing machine?
The tailor, he's received his sewing machine.
Good.
He's received all the fabric.
Good.
So I'm just waiting for him now to start making the outfit, so we can start showing the photos of what he's done for the kids there. Wow. So he's got a lot. I mean, he was overjoyed. I mean, he's got a whole business, literally an entire business, which he never would have had on his own.
Amazing.
Yeah. So now the next bit of news is Metsovo. Now, Metsovo is in the region of Iberos in Greece. It's a tiny village. Northwest. It's 45 minutes from Ioannina. It's an hour away from Meteora, where we went.
Yes.
And 2.5 hours from Thessaloniki.
Got it. Yep.
So that's where I went with Alexandra. We went there for a Vlach wedding.
Right.
Okay.
Explain Vlach.
I should have told Alexandra to come. She's going to moan when she hears this now. Now,
Roughly.
the Vlach people, they're separate people. They're Greeks.
Right.
Ethnically, they're Greeks. Their passport is Greek.
Language?
Language is their own.
Right.
They have their own language. They have their own dances, their own traditions. And even Vlachs who have moved to Romania over the decades, over the centuries, even they have different traditions to the Vlachs of Greece.
Greece, yep.
One, since I've got the gomboloi here,
Yes.
when the Vlachs of Romania dance, they swing the gomboloi as they're dancing around.
Right.
Whereas we just fiddle it around.
Yes.
So that's a big difference for us being Greek or being Cypriot. So there are differences, but at the end of the day, they all speak the same language. They have customs and traditions which go back generations.
Yes.
I mean, this wedding, like I said, was Alexandra's cousin. It was Daniela. She was marrying a guy called Jan Nisava. But they had 400 guests. It's the first time in 120 years that the Vlachs have returned to the area for a wedding of this magnitude.
Amazing.
400 guests. The majority were wearing national traditional costumes in church for the service. Being Cypriot, I'm the only one that went in a vraga, a waistcoat, black shirt. So I was there representing...
The one that you had at home. Anyway.
The one actually, I've got to say, but
donated by...
I thought, I mean, Alexandra said, Alex, you have to wear traditional Cypriot costume. I said, look, it's going to be shorts, T-shirts and sandals in that case. I've no idea what else I'm going to wear. And then I thought, where am I going to find a vraga? I looked online. From Cyprus, they'd have to send it. If the size is wrong, then I'm stuck. And then I thought, Barikiaki. I messaged George at Barikiaki. He arranged it for me.
Cool.
So we had a vraga, we had the waistcoat, and then the works as well. Plus, I bought the gomboloi whilst in Metsovo.
Nice.
As an extra touch. So like I said, the wedding was 400 people. It was over 3 days.
Yep.
So on the Friday we had the engagement party. That was food, drink, dancing, more dancing, and then more dancing. The dancing went on for hours. I think if the band didn't have to go home and sleep that night, they'd have carried on dancing. That was on the Friday night. Saturday now, we had some spare time, but in the evening we all went to a restaurant together. It's Bendefi, as in 5 letter Fi. It's run by some brothers. They also have a hotel called Olympic Hotel in Metsovo. So what they do, they rotate. So for a season, one family will run the hotel, and the other family runs the restaurant, and then they swap at some point.
Sure.
So that evening, on the Saturday evening, we went there, passed by, and it was just all these Vlachs from Romania, from Greece, in fact from all over the Balkans, just enjoying themselves as they used to in the villages of Cyprus. That's what it reminded me of. They were singing songs in Vlachica. There was one guy, Napoleon, his name was, a Vlach from Greece, Napoleon, first Napoleon I've ever met, and he also sang Cypriot songs as well as Greek songs as well as Vlach songs. So that was a Saturday.
Wow.
Now Sunday we had the wedding. Now before the wedding, we all had to go to the Olympic Hotel where the groom would receive the bride.
Right.
So the bride's family are in the hotel waiting, and then down the hill comes this army of Vlachs with the groom singing. And it was the most amazing thing to see. And then they stood outside the hotel just singing. The young men had the gomboloi, swinging their gomboloi as they do the Romanian Vlachs. And then they come in, he receives a bride, and then they take her to the church, then they walk up to the church, and it's this old church there, beautiful church. And then they had the service there. There was a photographer from Romania, Marian Sterea. Now he took a lovely photo of me and Alexandra, which will also pop up behind us. So he was there on the day taking photos. There's also videographers and what have you. So that was the Sunday. And then after church, we went to the hall, where we had to change now into our formal attire. Went to the church, to the hall, where we ate again, we drank again. we dance, and then dance, and then dance. Even I was dancing the Vlach dances on the night.
Right.
So that was so that was. And then Monday they had a further party, so more food, more dance. It was 3 days basically. I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. But as well as that, we managed to go without time. We went rafting, and just by chance, there's another couple there. The guy's Cypriot, a fellow Cypriot. So we had a good time. Yorgo and his I think his wife was fiance Maria.
Right.
So we had a good time with the rafting as well.
Good.
And that was our holiday there.
It's kind of how weddings used to be in the villages in Greece and Cyprus. It doesn't really happen anymore.
No, I mean there was hotels for days, and the whole village would turn up. I mean, even
singing.
They had some top singers. I mean, there was Dimitris Paraskos, who's from Greek, and then Fodis Tratsias, who's also from Greece. They sang in Vlach. They're absolutely. In fact, Dimitris is a clarinetist, which is a very traditional instrument. Yeah. Even when they were coming to the hotel, they were both singing and playing the clarinet as well. So we had that. Now, if anyone ever visits Metsovo, it's a beautiful village. It's got so many traditions that have been kept for generations. You might not even hear people speaking in Greek. They're always speaking Vlachica, and I think it's a combination between a Roman language or Latin language and Greek. But I find it very hard to pick out the Greek word. I mean, the only one I could pick out was Charisto, or Evcharisto.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone visits Metsovo,
it's Balkan kind of.
It is,
heritage.
Yeah. And I mean, 120 years ago, their great grandparents left the land and they went to places like Romania. They went to Albania. They went to the then Yugoslavia. So they're the areas they all moved to. Yep. For one reason or another, and they're actually they were a persecuted people as well, which is quite sad to hear.
You get to see traditions that we find in Cypriot villages as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you see the costumes as well, James, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. You know, and you feel it, and then you see one man in a vraga.
Well, you probably blended in. I'm sure the photos that we'll put, you're going to blend in.
Well, a lot of them thought I was from Crete or from the because of the vraga.
Exactly.
Yeah, except I didn't have the dagger and the what have you.
Black boots and a sword.
I couldn't find boots because I had like 2 days to look for boots here in the UK. Yep. So I just wore black socks, long black socks, but you'll see the photos anyway.
Amazing.
So that was Metsovo. Okay, so I'm just switching my sheets because we've got so much to go through.
No problem.
Now, also in Metsovo, there's the Avarov Art Museum.
Right.
Now, this is something for you to Google. I keep moving my hand across there. The Avarov Museum. And then I have to look at the names because I keep forgetting a lot of these names. Tsositsa Folk Museum. Now, in this museum, there was a Bible written in Turkish with Turkish letters, but the words were Greek.
Oh, the calligraphy was
in Turkish, but the language was Greek. Same way sometimes when we text in Greek, we use English characters.
Yeah. Got it.
Tigan is T-I and then K-N. And I-S. So that's because a lot of people could speak the language, but they couldn't write the language. They weren't allowed to learn it or learn to write. So this was from the Ottoman Empire. So there's a lot of history. When it goes Metsovo, it's well worth looking up.
Absolutely. Good.
But one other thing, there was a St. Nicholas of Metsovo festival.
Right.
It was the Yorti. So I was on the Thursday. I remember I had a mentoring session. There's a guy that I mentor. I'm mentoring. So as soon as it finished, Sean said, "There's a Yorti. There's a festival. There's going to be the army. There's going to be a march. There's going to be a procession." So I had to quickly change, because I was in my jeans, put my shirt on. Off we went with the camera. Introduced myself to the Metropolitan of Ioannina.
Wow.
I said who I was. I said I'm a photographer of Archbishop Nikitas. Sorry, I had to use your name there, Your Eminence. So and then straight away he said, please take photos. Took photos for the Vespers, the procession. The next day on the Friday we had the service. Then outside there were the children from the local school dressed in traditional costume, Vlach costume. They were singing Vlach songs. They were dancing. It was the most amazing thing. It was like, I explained to one priest of ours here. I said, from Thessaloniki, we were driving to Metsovo. Yeah. Alexandra went through a tunnel, and then I came into a country or into land that was Greece, but but wasn't Greece.
But wasn't Greece, yeah.
It was the most amazing thing. So if anyone goes to that part of Greece, it's well worth a visit to Metsovo, Ioannina, and just the region in general. Okay.
Hospitable people.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
With lots of history. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now we've got our church news. Are we? Yeah. This is
Holy Week.
We've got. Yeah. No. This is so we're actually in July, obviously.
Yeah.
Holy Week was a long time ago, but for
Yes.
us it was just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, Holy Week. I'm going to do this very quickly. So,
Fine.
usually, what used to happen on Easter, I used to go to for Hellenic, St Andrew's Church in Kentish Town. All the Hellenic, Agathis hymn, the whole of Holy Week. Easter Sunday, everything was St Andrew's. And then one year I thought, you know what, let me go to other churches as well, because people want to see other churches. So this year I went to, I'm going to have to start with Palm Sunday, it was St Anthony's in Holloway. And then I went to Banaya. I had Holy Cross, All Saints, for the bridegroom matins. Then we had Holy Unction, that was St Andrew's. The next day, Thursday morning, I was at St Anthony's. Then the 12 Gospels back at St Andrews in Holloway. Holloway. So, and then we had Epitafio, that was St Andrews. But in the morning, I was at 12 Apostles for the taking down from the cross. And then Saturday morning, we had the first resurrection, St Andrews. And there are going to be a lot of photos like popping up behind me at the moment. Okay? So we had St Andrews in the morning, St Andrews in the evening with His Eminence on the Saturday, and then Sunday morning. Now Sunday morning, actually, there was quite a historic event on the Sunday. So Sunday morning, I went with Alexandra to St Andrews, and as we did last year, I read the Gospel in this is for the Vespers of Love now. So I read it in Sierra Leone in Creole for the second time. Alexandra read it in Vlach for the second time. So, but then in that evening we went to Holy Cross, and then we read it again in Sierra Leone in Creole. That's the language of the freed slaves, and then in Vlach. So that's the first time I think that has ever happened. Well, definitely it has ever happened. It's not a combination you see. No. So that was quite an event. I even saw the Gospel written in Cherokee. Really? This is because Father Christian, he has a whole stack of Gospels written in different languages, just in case someone comes in, and there's Cherokee amongst them. So I'm waiting for the day someone will come and read it in Cherokee. I'll get a copy for you, James.
That'd be good, because I usually do it in Latin, because my dearly departed uncle Padre Nighiforo from All Saints used to read it in Latin on the Sunday. So I'm continuing that. I do it at St Mandalemo in Latin. And my Byzantine music teacher, Panayoti, does it in ancient Greek. So he chants in ancient Greek, you know. But Cherokee, I think we should add that to the repertoire.
But didn't your brother years back, he did it in oldie English, what do you call it?
More, Norse, I think.
Oh, was it Norse? I thought it was okay.
Was it Norse or Old English?
Old English, when he was at university. Yeah, that's right.
He studied that,
So that's taken us up to the Easter Sunday.
Amazing.
And then Tuesday I was at St Raphael for the Yorti. Bishop Jagavo was there as well. I think that kind of covers. It was very quick.
That's a good run through.
Church news, but yeah.
What do you see year to year in Easter? I mean, any impressions? The congregations are up in terms of Eastern European congregation. Any other? It's quite a nice traditional.
I've noticed that there's this year in particular. There's been a younger crowd.
Right. Good.
For Holy Week, for Easter for the Saturday, for the Anastasia, but it's been a younger crowd and a diverse crowd as well. So you get all nationalities all there in our church as it should be. That's the main difference I think that I've seen.
That's probably the influence of His Eminence.
Definitely.
And English services in certain churches.
Yeah, we've got loads. 12 Apostles has them. St Andrews.
Asman Navas.
Yeah, no,
good.
That's good.
That's really good news.
Oh, and actually, I've got to say, this is like a special thing. There's a guy called Christo at Holy Cross. He's one of the unsung. I mean, there are lots of unsung heroes. He does so much for that church, but he never gets that pat on the back. He doesn't ask for it, but he's getting his pat on the back now.
Give his recognition now.
Okay.
Lots of unsung heroes.
Yeah, definitely, James.
Good. Okay. Let's finish off then. Last couple of minutes. It's 2024 now.
Yeah.
It'll be 50 years since 1974, the tragic events. Lots of things happening this year to remember. One of the things that I've followed, especially in the last few years, is the missing persons. Believe it or not, there were 2,000 people missing in 74. Actually, the Commission for Missing Persons in Cyprus counts from 1963 when there was strife in Cyprus. So 63 to 74. 2,000 people. 1,000 have been found, accounted for, returned to their families, given state funerals, the state aid to mark them. But there's still 1,000 people missing. And the Commission for Missing Persons and the ORMC, Organisation of the Relatives of Missing Persons, every month, whenever they find somebody, they announce the name. Every month. They've been doing this for pretty much 30 years.
Do you have a direct connection to this? Because you're quite strongly involved.
Only because I don't have a connection to it, and I feel we ought to. So our village was just south of the border, so we weren't.
What's your village?
Galada in Drodos. So, but because it's such a tragic thing and forgotten, unfortunately, we need to keep it alive. And also, without getting too heavy, war crimes, because some of the remains they found, without being too gruesome, bullet holes in skulls, which are war crimes. Now, certain people take the Turkish government to court, etc. Anyway, we're not going to solve that here, but I think this year we ought to be a bit solemn about it. There will be events coming up. There's a memorial.
There's at Hagia Sophia on the 14th of July. There's a memorial service there, and then on the 20th of July, there's a demonstration outside the Turkish embassy. Yeah, that's going to be in the evening. So with that, I mean, all of this will be online anyway. But that, and also all the local churches, I'm sure they'll have some sort of service, to commemorate that. And I mean, my own memory of that time was I was 7 years old, obviously living in London, and I'd read the papers in English. So as a 7-year-old, I'd go through them, picking up what I can, then I'd translate to my granny in Greek what was happening to our fellow Cypriots in Cyprus. So it's not the best of experience for a 7-year-old, but it's something that sticks with you. Not forget that. And you probably went through more.
Yeah. We used to watch events from TV, and we've all grown up with it. But it's amazing that it's taken 50 years. And
I mean, James was actually born in Cyprus.
I came to London when I was 2, so we go back every year. But it's a big part of our heritage, I guess.
It has to.
On a lighter note, Alex, right? So a lot of Cypriots came to England to set up a new life after 74. And after lockdown, I was actually invited to become a trustee of our local church, Spandeleimonas in Harrow. And I looked at the constitution of our church, right? It's a charity like most churches. And our community was set up, Spandeleimonas, in 1975. So again, immigrants from Cyprus. And in the constitution, and I'm going to test you now, this is a quiz live on air.
Okay, let me just have coffee first, James.
We haven't prepared this, right? In the constitution, it's got the founders of the community, and there are 12 members, to follow the 12 apostles. The 12th member is the Archbishop. And then there are 11 founders of the church, and it lists their occupation, their profession. So I want you to guess the occupations of the founders of our church, and I bet they will be very similar across most of the churches in the UK. So I tried this on my parents, and they were exceptionally good. So you got a high bar to aim for. So give me some professions and occupations that you think the founders came up with.
Fish and chip shop.
Right. 3 of those.
2
fish and chip shop owners and 1 restaurateur. Well done.
I was going to say restaurant.
Bullseye.
The second one.
Go on in.
There would have been a factory, dress factory.
2 of those. Well done. Good. So there's a dress manufacturer and a dress cutter. So you got 5 without even breathing.
Some sort of shop.
That's it. Shop manager is the next one.
Any?
And there's another type of shop, and then there's a profession as well.
Another type of shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh dear.
I think you've got most of them, so I'm really pleased.
Okay. Well, we're not going to go for casinos because it wasn't in those. That was just my ex-father-in-law. Anyway, any accountants there?
No.
Oh really?
No,
Okay.
No. So we have a dry cleaner.
Okay.
Shop manager we mentioned, and 2 hotel owners.
Oh really? Okay. I think I know one of them.
Yes.
He's still around.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So there you go. That was the found when people came from Cyprus to the UK. They wanted to build their church.
Yeah.
And these are the professions that they came from.
Okay.
And if we were to look at the constitution of any church in Coventry, Birmingham, South London, I bet that distribution will be very, very similar.
Well, Birmingham and Coventry, I know for sure,
fish and chips.
will be fish and chips. That's how they built their churches in those days, from the fish and chip shops. You know, and it's something we should be proud of, not... Yeah.
No,
they worked hard.
Bit of positive spin on the 50 years, because next year, 2025, will be 50 years of St. Mandeleimon community. So that's part of our heritage as well.
Invite me for the take photos, James.
We will have an event.
Definitely.
Lovely. Anything else you want to cover?
I think we've covered all the apologies for getting names wrong.
100 miles an hour. No, it's good. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, viewers.
Welcome, James.
We'll see you again next time on Table for Two. Thanks. Bye bye.